October 2nd, 2014, from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. It was the Arizona Wildcats at the number 2 ranked Oregon Ducks in this Pac-10 matchup. Oregon won the coin toss and they received, and they would make it all the way across midfield into the Arizona 31-yard line, and on 4th and 3 they went for it. It was an incomplete pass, and they turned the ball over on downs on their first possession. So the Wildcats took over on their own 31-yard line. And they marched across midfield and all the way to the red zone, but their drive would stall, and so they would end up bringing Skowron out to kick a 28-yard field goal as he put the first points on the board as the Arizona Wildcats took the lead at 3-0 over the Oregon Ducks. So now the Ducks took over with about 8.5 minutes left in the first quarter, and they would go 3 and out as they punted the ball back to Arizona. So Arizona took over on their own 23-yard line, and Wilson picked up a first down on first down. Then on 3rd and 3, Solomon dropped back. The pass was intercepted by Reggie Daniels as the Ducks took over with a little over 6 minutes left in the first. They had the ball on their own 31, and they got near midfield, but then penalties brought their drive to a stall, and they would end up punting the ball. Now the Wildcats would end up going 3 and out and punting the ball back to the Ducks. So now the Ducks had the ball with about 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter, and they would reach midfield, and they would end up having a 12-yard gain on the last play of the quarter. So the Ducks started the second quarter with the ball on the Arizona 36-yard line, and then after a 10-yard run by Royce Freeman on the first play of the second quarter, Royce Freeman ended up throwing a 26-yard touchdown pass to Marcus Mariota, and that made it 7-3 Ducks as they took the lead. They were up by 4 points. So now the Wildcats took over on their own 25. They'd reach midfield. They would end up punting the ball after having a penalty on 3rd and 8, make it 3rd and 23. They picked up a 19-yard gain on 3rd and 23 as Solomon ran, but he was just shy of the first down, so they ended up kicking on 4th and 4. So the Ducks got the ball back with about 12 minutes left before halftime. They were backed up against their own end zone on the 1-yard line. They were able to get out of the shadow of their end zone, but they would end up having to punt the ball shortly thereafter. So now the Wildcats took over, but they would go 3 and out, and they ended up punting the ball back to the Ducks, who had the ball now with 8.5 minutes left in the half. The ball was on their own 20. They ended up making it across midfield, and they made it all the way to the Arizona 33. But on 1st and 10 from the 33, Mariota dropped back. The pass was sacked by Pettinato. He forced the fumble, and it was recovered by Zellers. So the Wildcats took over on their own 35-yard line with about a little less than 5 minutes left before halftime. They ended up marching across midfield and into the Ducks' territory all the way down to the 7-yard line where it was 1st and goal. But then Terris Jones-Grigsby fumbled the ball as the fumble was forced by Tony Washington, and Malone ended up recovering for the Ducks. So the Ducks got the ball back just before halftime. They weren't able to get anything going as they were on their own 10-yard line, and halftime came, and it was 7-3 as the Ducks were up by 4 points. So now the Wildcats would start off things in the second half. The first half was very low scoring, but the second half would be anything but, as it got really wild and really crazy as we saw lots of lead changes. The first lead change happened on the first drive of the second half as the Wildcats drove 80 yards in 6 plays, taking up just 2 minutes, capped off by a 3-yard touchdown run by Nick Wilson as they now took the lead by 3 points with the score 10-7, Arizona over Oregon. So now the Ducks took over with about 13 minutes left in the third. They would end up driving 72 yards in 10 plays in about 3 minutes, capped off by a 6-yard touchdown pass from Mariota to Devon Allen. So now it was 14-10 as the Ducks took back the lead, as this was the second lead change in the second half. So now the Wildcats had the ball with about 10 minutes left in the third, and they started things off on their own 7-yard line. They crossed midfield and had an amazing play. Actually, they were at their own 43, and Solomon hit Terris Jones-Grigsby for a 54-yard pass that brought it all the way to the Oregon 3-yard line. It was 1st and goal from the 3, but an incomplete pass brought up 2nd and goal from the 3. They lost 2 yards, so now it's 3rd and goal from the 5. But there was a pass interference call, which made it 1st down on the 2. And then Nick Wilson pounded it in for the 2-yard touchdown run. And the Wildcats now took the lead. It was the 3rd lead change in the 3rd quarter, as it was now 17-14, as the Wildcats led the Ducks by 3 points. So Oregon would take over with 6.5 minutes left in the 3rd on their own 25, and they would go 3 and out. So they punted the ball back to the Arizona Wildcats, who now had the ball with a little less than 5 minutes left in the 3rd. They took over on their own 20. They brought the ball to midfield as they were on their own 48. And a 17-yard pass from Solomon to Johnson brought them to the 35. And then on 2nd and 9 from the 34, Solomon found Nick Wilson for a 34-yard touchdown pass. And now it was 24-14 as the Wildcats had extended their lead to 10 points. So the Ducks now had the ball with 1:30 left in the 3rd quarter. They were on their own 24. They brought the ball across midfield. They were at the Arizona 36. It was 2nd and 8. And Mariota connected with Stanford for a 34-yard pass. It was 1st and goal on the Arizona 2-yard line. They got stuffed for no gain, and the quarter came to a close. So the 4th quarter opened up with a score 24-14, Wildcats over the Ducks, and the Ducks on the Arizona 2-yard line, as it was 2nd and goal. They were poised to score, but on 2nd down, they had a no gain, and on 3rd, they got a false start, so it was 3rd and goal from the 7, and they weren't able to get into the end zone, and they would end up having to settle for a 21-yard field goal from Matt Wogan, and that made the score 24-7, as the Ducks were now within a touchdown of the Wildcats. But the Wildcats now had the ball up by a touchdown with 13.5 minutes left in the game. It was on their own 31 that they started their drive. They got into Arizona territory, but on 3rd and 6 from the 38, they would have a 4-yard pass from Solomon to Jones-Grigsby. So that brought up 4th and 2 from the 34, and Terris Jones-Grigsby was stuffed for no gain as the Oregon Ducks came up clutch as their defense forced the Wildcats to turn over the ball on downs. So now the Ducks took over with 11 minutes left in the 4th quarter and the ball on their own 34. They brought the ball across midfield and they had it all the way to the Arizona 33 for 3rd and 7, but Mariota was sacked by El Calito. So it was 4th and 11 from the 37 of Arizona. The Ducks went for it, and Marcus Mariota found Devon Allen for a 28-yard pass, and that made it 1st and goal from the Arizona 9-yard line. So then after an incomplete pass on 1st down, it was 2nd and goal from the 9, and Mariota found Keanon Lowe for a 9-yard touchdown pass that tied this game up at 24 points apiece. So this game was all tied up with about 8.5 minutes left as Arizona got the ball back, and they had it on their own 29. They brought the ball to midfield, and from their 49, it was 3rd and 4. And then Solomon found Jones-Grigsby on a pass, and he connected for 28 yards. So that made a 1st down on the Oregon 23. They got penalized, and they were brought back to where it was 3rd and 20 on the Oregon 33. But then Jones-Grigsby ran for 24 yards as he got the 1st down and brought the ball to the Oregon 9-yard line. So it was 1st and goal from the 9. And then after a penalty, it was 3rd and goal from the 8, but a penalty of unsportsmanlike conduct gave the Wildcats a second chance as it was now 1st and goal from the 8. And then they gained 6 yards on a pass interference call. It was 1st and goal from the 2nd, from the 2-yard line. So 2nd and goal from the 2. Got a 1-yard run, so 3rd and goal from the 1, and Terris Jones-Grigsby punched it in and put the Wildcats up 31-24 as they just ate up 5.5 minutes, going 71 yards in 15 plays. So now the Ducks got the ball with less than 3 minutes left in this game. They were backed up against their own end zone on their own 9-yard line as a holding penalty on the kickoff had put them in the shadow of their own goal line. They managed to pick up the 1st down, and it was 1st and 10 from the 23, and they picked up another 1st down. Both 1st downs were passes to Dwayne Stanford. So then it was 1st and 10 from the 35, and Marcus Mariota dropped back to pass, and he was sacked by Scooby Wright III He dropped him, and he forced the fumble. And Scooby Wright III recovered the fumble that he had forced with the sack, and he got the ball back for the Wildcats as he had all but won this game, but Arizona needed to pick up a first down. And on 3rd and 5 from the Oregon 29, Terris Jones-Grigsby ran for 9 yards, got the first down, and that would be all. As 3 plays later, this game to a close, and the Arizona Wildcats win in a huge upset, the biggest upset of this year. It's the 4th time a top 10 team has dropped to an unranked team this season, and this is the highest ranked team to lose to an unranked team this season. As the Arizona Wildcats win this game 31-24 over the number 2 ranked Oregon Ducks, and the Arizona Wildcats are now 5-0 on the season, 2-0 in the Pac-10. And the Ducks now lose their first game after having been undefeated thus far this season, as they are now 4-1 and 1-1 in their conference. And in this game, Anu Solomon was 20 for 31 with 287 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. He also had 12 carries, which netted 0 yards. Marcus Mariota was 20 for 32 with 276 passing yards and 2 touchdowns throwing. He also had 1 yard off of 9 carries. The leading rusher in this game was Terris Jones-Grigsby, with 27 carries for 115 yards. He also had a touchdown. Nick Wilson for the Wildcats also had 13 carries, 92 yards, and 2 touchdowns. For the Ducks, their leading rusher was Royce Freeman, who had 19 carries for 85 yards. The leading receiver in the game was Terris Jones-Grigsby with 95 yards off of 4 receptions. So Terris Jones-Grigsby was the leading rusher and the leading receiver as he tore it up in this game, as he had a huge performance in this upset. Devon Allen was the leading receiver for the Ducks with 78 yards off of 5 receptions, one of which was for a touchdown. Dwayne Stanford also had 4 receptions for 74 yards. And Reggie Daniels had an interception for the Ducks, but it was that sack, that fumble by Scooby Wright III that made the difference, as he came up with that huge clutch play when it counted the most, as the Ducks lose a disappointing game at home, and the Wildcats pull off a huge upset, as you know they must be going crazy in Arizona. So the final score is Arizona 31, Oregon 24.